So hi everybody. So this is again Sangeeta, Leadership Growth Mentor, and I help you set your mindset for accelerated growth. So the moment you put your mind into clarity, it starts giving you some answers to questions like anything, and its own way, which is not easily available as a guidance from anybody. So that is how we get guidance from the universe. It is like, say, sometimes it will be very surprising, but if you surrender to it, then it gives you immense knowledge, and you get a you get a me space, right? So the other day, yesterday, I was listening to somebody in the conversation. She was mentioning about me space quite a few times. So all of us are kind of looking for some me time, right? In this world, which is very fast and which is very demanding, and because of our expectation also, and so few of the things. So as I was mentioning, I heard a few of my clients asking about some questions which was very close to this kind of universal guidance, wherein you connect within and get the answers yourself. So for that to happen, there has to be a discipline inside your mind. So that also will be taken care of today. We'll try to discuss that, which is very relevant in our career growth. So when it comes to career growth, we think of very few things, right? Like it is salary and boss and promotion, reward, incentive, like that. But there is other things also. Right now, it is not one job, but multiple stream of income. That is what we all talk of, right? So are we geared up to embrace such a lifestyle which will give us a multiple stream of income, wherein the possibility of going expanding the scope of operating in this world will be higher, and also we will create possibility to earn more in multiple passive income streams. That possibility will give ourselves, right? So starting, we'll start from somewhere else. Right now, where you are, we are in a job, right? So how to go from a job to that multiple stream of income? That will be the context of today's discussion. So, hi, I'm Sangeeta. I'm a leadership growth mentor. I help people to have clarity and fulfillment. Those attributes, they will have a miraculous mindset, which will look for solutions, not many solutions. So let me try to welcome you from all over the place, all over India, wherever you are. You chose to be here watching this live streaming of this webinar. You might have been somewhere else. Just give me a second. So you might have been somewhere else enjoying your Sunday, and tomorrow is our 75th Independence Day, celebrating Happy Hind. But you chose to be here listening to me. Thank you so much. And I welcome you all from wherever you are from. I'm not able to see because it is live streaming. So welcome everybody, whoever is there. And let us start this presentation with a rule that your questions will be answered towards the end, and it will be a 90 minutes webinar. So first listen to it as to how I am trying to look towards life in a new perspective, right? So here is, let me share the screen with my presentation. So if you are able to see the screen, then please write yes in the chat box, and so we'll start. So these are the three separate tools that discerns an universal nudge. So how will know that the universe is speaking to you, right? So uh, this creates a delayed fulfillment, right? Delayed fulfillment, you are right now, you might be very desperate about a job, very desperate about some situation, you are frustrated with your job or whatever. So it takes a little bit of time till you get involved, right? But once you are in sync with yourself, then it starts giving you accelerated growth in many ways, right? So who this is for? This is for people who are stuck and feeling unfulfilled. And who are those people who feel stuck and unfulfilled? Those people, those people who are actually very potential people. They have lot to do, lot to contribute, and lot to offer. But somehow they are restricted to work in that direction in their workplace. So they feel frustrated. There may be several reasons. And as I was saying, why you feel stuck is one reasons they say are reward, expertise, salary raise, promotion, opportunity, recognition, incentive, and leadership growth. But beyond that also, these come as a result. But what cause leads to this are manifold. So let us try. So I gave it a formula, a consistent formula. So I always say that if you are consistent with something, you start small and consistent with something, then you definitely get results. But no, people somehow they are impatient. So impatience will not help. You have to thoroughly enjoy your journey, right? The journey is very important. You have to enjoy that journey. So even if you are in the place where you are stuck, look at look at your potential. What will be your superpowers? How you can contribute? That is your potential, and how you will access it is every day you have to be very specific about your this thing, like say your inner strength, and what strength you have every day. That strength keeps on changing shape, so uh, please be aware of how, what sometimes it will say, it will give you some shape, like as if you don't know anything. Suppose you write poems. So what is this poem? Somebody will say. So for few years you might get depressed without writing a poem. You post something somewhere, nobody liked, then you stop posting, right, at that place. So what is the, like, how can you start posting, and how can you start writing this poem? Write somewhere with 2 3 audiences, right? So start small, always be restricted. It is, unless there is something, why those people like you, because you have touched their lives, right? So those 2 3 people may matter to you, right? So starting small, so that is where potency comes. This second is progress. You have to be consistent about what you are going to do and what you are doing. Perception is like whatever you perceive is real. The glass half full is half empty as well. So if you perceive the glass to be half full, then it is a positive mindset. And if you say that it is half empty as yet, then it will give you depression, right? So this is a matter of perception. Process is, that is where we work, right? Consistency with the process is the work that we are going to do. We all need to do. And there is a method to this process. Partnership, all the relationship matters that is bothering you, those are relationships, partnerships as well. Why do you work on the potential? Because you are you need their help, right? So partnerships are uh, very delicate things, and you need to handle. Partnership at workspace are relationship with boss, the seniors, juniors, peers. Passion, there might be something, there has to be something inside you which you are passionate about. Whether we can turn that into a monetizing skill, that is the issue out here. So we need to, it doesn't start generating money overnight, right? So we need to work on. That is why I say the base, the bottom line of the entire thing is discipline and consistency. Discipline to have consistency. Then pattern, you have to look at your mindset, and we'll be talking about this in the subsequent so the questions that was asked, and so many of you are bothered about, is around the job that you have. So to start with, if you want to change your job or you are looking for some growth, then what you need to do is you have to have a right resume, right? If you have a right resume, then only you can start applying. And if your resume is not right, you cannot think of getting accepted anywhere. So do you have a good resume? Then if you are looking for different roles, because your expertise is such that it can cater to many roles, so each of your resume has to be tweaked a bit. These are very simple things. And suppose you are trying to send your resume to HR somewhere, do you have right cover letters? Because there are, you have 5 resumes right now. So with each resume, different cover letters should go. And suppose you are trying for an unpublished job, then right now what you need to do is develop contacts, right? Some of the time back, I was reading a recent story wherein the person asked a friend to recommend him to a job, and that person unfriended him and deleted him, right? After say 5 to 10 years, that person was in need of a job. He approached him, and this person did the right thing. He recommended him. So you can't expect people to be like you, right? And so you need to have the right contacts who with whom you can develop certain amount of closeness, so that you both are, like say, helping each other. And do you have that kind of contact? Do you know how to uh, uh, approach those contacts? Then have you figured out how you stand out in a workplace? And you, everybody has 2 superpowers in within him or her. Do you know what is your superpower? And what are your dream companies where you want to work? So why why those are your dream companies? And how can you make yourself the best contributor? So these are the questions that I ask when people ask me for a change of scenario. So anybody, suppose somebody comes to me and asks, do you know somebody who can fit into this role, that role? So if I say yes, I know somebody, but how do I know? That logic has to be there. If I don't know you enough, how can you recommend to any post? Like say it is a trust issue, right? So here is what you need to do before you ask somebody for recommendation. So you have to think about yourself, like how do you think yourself, how people think about yourself, And what are your deep vision by which the posterity, future generation is going to perceive you. So these are the three things which actually matters us all the time, back of our mind. So if we are clear about that, then only from that perspective we can work backwards and reach today, right? From there only our discipline gets formulated. It is not a quick fix, right? So my solution is resourceful influencing. I take time, but I achieve big. That is my motto. So if you want to invest your time into something meaningful, then here is the place where you can get it. What is resourceful influencing is? So with resourcefulness, you can actually utilize the existing resources. For others, there will be no resources, but you can see the resources. That is the difference you make, and in an optimum way. So other people will be clueless where you will be working forward, inching forward. Sometimes you are progressing forward. And being resourceful under multiple circumstances is about influencing is. That is how you influence, right? So when you prove that you are resourceful under multiple circumstances, right, where people are not able to see anything, you have generated a solution, as well as you also have located some resources. That is a huge quality, right? So the truth about the resourceful person who is recognition and growth, more so in the COVID time, because in the COVID time, what has happened is people of very high academic skills and at very senior level, they were laid off. Why? Because the normal business can be run by anybody who is not very senior at mid career level, and he has sufficient ground reality, ground experience, as well as enough sufficient vision to take the business forward during emergencies like COVID. So, who is retained? The person who is resourceful, who knows the ground reality, who has and sufficient forward vision. Right? And big companies have now a rule in which they will not appoint any highly qualified people. They will hire these people of average background, and they will train people to get that job, to do that job for them. And resilience people overcomes frequent struggles, because you know when you are resilient, you are resourceful, you are enjoying your work, right? So there is no struggle for you. Everyday struggle you take one each day, one at a time, and resolve it. And struggles unravels relevance, because those struggle for others it will be struggle, but for you it is actually working and enjoying the work and producing result. So that is how your relevance is established. And for a long time, if you are relevant, then you establish that you love that work, you are passionate about that work, and you are producing result. So that is how you reach beyond. So whatever is in your purview right now, it will be multiple by the time you reach the result. So these are the truths. And the influence path is, first you need to uniquely differentiate yourself. Then when you differentiate yourself, you also recognize the differentiate the uniqueness in others. That is how benevolence is created. When you recognize the good in others, you win admiration, that is also influencing another person. And when you are resilient, your credibility is built, that also brings in admiration. And when you are admired, you recognize yourself, you stand on yourself. This is how the uniqueness is established, the influence is established, and your growth becomes obvious. Everybody will give you a 3x growth after that, unhesitating. And three secrets of resourcefulness is, as I said, managing self, managing people, and managing time. And what people don't know about the universal nudge, let us come to the universal nudge, is if you have 1.2, 1.5 years of experience, you easily can have 100 success stories about yourself. Do you know those success stories? Can you create those success stories? You can, right? If you remember how you have done, at what circumstances, those stories will be created. So if those stories are created, you become unique by virtue of that only, right? If you write a book, it is very easy to write a book and put in Amazon. Anybody can read. People in the similar journey, they will read your book. So you become an author. Whether you become the best seller or whatever, that doesn't matter. But you have become an author, right? So your branding is done. That is the first thing. Second is, win over your boss in 3 days without bottling. So how you can do that? It is about a perception and mindset change. It is a but huge change, but small actions, right? So that is what you don't know. Become a go-to person in 21 days. This is easy, right? So you become empathetic to others' need and uh, start accommodating their needs, start supporting them, to become a go-to person. It takes 21 days to establish that trust, but it doesn't take you much because already you have that capability. Design yourself as a leader in 90 days. The same person, whatever you have done in 21 days, that you can do in 90 days. Be 100% productive in 24 hours. That is very easy to do. You just have to know the tricks, how to manage time, and you become productive, right? And you have to work half the time and monetize one skill in 30 days. The skill that you are selling for a salary may be monetized otherwise also, right? For a side hustle as well. Establish a tracker that triples your income within a year. So that this is a very practical experience that I have. I have created one Excel sheet in which I had uh, actually mentioned all my income streams and from where, what possibility is there for earning from what. So I actually listed down 5 ways from which I would be earning, as small as the interest that I will be earning from my savings, the bonus that the dividend that I'll be paid from the mutual fund that I have invested in, the what else? My salary, of course, some consultancy fee, and some um, mentoring that I do. So these were the 5 tracks that I had listed down. And actually, in 3 years' time, when I saw it, it actually happened. So why not track down those things and allow, like say, as if it has already happened, you allow the universe to provision those kind of source to you. It will become very effortless, right? So that you can do. Start living 4 days week from next week. So once you are productive in 24 hours, will it be very difficult if you just need a calendar? How to not assign work to 3 days in your week? That is all you can do. Become a profuse course creator in 21 days. Like say, anything that you know that can be taught to somebody who is in need. right? That you can do. And turn a global dream into reality from next Sunday. So if you stop anything, like say use of cigarette, if you can stop, you don't eat any pizza, that is also reduces CO2 and makes this, and use of solar assets, solar things that you start using, your light, anything, right? That way you become a global contributor, right? This sounds very absurd, but we can start small, and we can start from now only. It is that easy. So once you are, no, equipped with all these, then also your mindset will play with you. What happens is, as I said, half glass full is half glass empty also. So your mindset, if somebody says something, if you cannot see the positive aspect, it becomes a negativity towards you. When you are negative, you spread negativity, and your action will be like that. Your habits, repeated actions will form a habit, and that becomes attitude. And that is how your personality is defined, right? So these catalysts are unforeseen. They are not, like say, given enough heed to, and they actually spoil our entire personality and our market value. So characteristics of a resourceful mindset is they will recognize existing opportunity always, ongoing difficulty, strength and weaknesses they will recognize of self and others also, and that is why they will complement when there is a lacuna in others behavior, and they will ask for help from others when they are not strong at something, and they will take a mentor when there is cost and time in. You cannot go on exploring everything by all by yourself. The other person, if that person is experienced enough, you can take his help, right? So this is the characteristic of a resourceful mindset. You take help whichever is available, wherever it is available. If it is available, then take. Many people don't take this help even if it is available. So that these are the four characteristics of a resourceful mindset. See, these are very easily to be done, right? And what will be your action point is you need to observe everything that you do. You need to be observant about that, reflect on that, what has gone wrong, rectify if anything has gone wrong, and the same solution will not happen, same problem in the same manner will not happen. It will come in the different shapes. So tweak about that, and you create daily wins, right? If you are positive about something, then you have to figure out something that has gone positive in your day, and that is what I call as daily wins. And you record that daily wins in some journal, so that you have a journal which also convinces you at the time of negativity that actually you have created many wins, many victories consistently, right? My backstory is, so far I have trained 18,000 professionals to impact about 1 crore lives since 2008, and they are all doing great. And why I'm saying great? Because they can take their decisions. It is that independence, that freedom which has been created inside their mind, that not to take, not to look for help, not to feel helpless when an emergency comes. That is the most important aspect, most important traits which is created in their personality. And I have found two skills in everybody that I have trained. So why I'm doing this is because I have this there has to be positivity, creativity, and always the longing for doing more, become more. That is what all of us do. But suppose one is doing that and the others are not doing. Jim Rohn says we are the average of 5 people around us. So the more successful people in our surroundings are, the more will be our average, how successful we are. So if we want ourselves to be successful, others need to be successful, right? And my mission is impact 1 billion lives with 1 lakh super performing global players in 139 countries with multi-billion dollar enterprise. So this is a huge audacious goal. Why I have put this goal is, unless we put our eyes on the stars, we cannot reach the moon also. So this is why I have put. So it is not that it will not be happening. It will happen, but it will start small and start slow, and it will take time to happen. But once it happens, it will go on happening, right? So this is what my mission is. And my system is Resourceful Influencers Club. Whoever comes to this club, this community, they will be called as Resourceful Influencers Club. And first experience of resourcefulness, how I knew that this works is, there are many people like Tony Robbins. He also talks about resourcefulness, and he has millionaires in his study circle, in his client list, who also feel stuck. So he uses resourcefulness as a word, wherein you achieve something which is for the purpose of others also. So my resourcefulness background is like, when I attended a HR workshop. I'm from a mathematics background, but I attended one HR workshop because I had, at that point of time, in a very small organization, and because of that I became senior, because I had 12 years of experience in a multinational company by then. So I didn't have any HR experience. So in that workshop, what I did was, there was a requirement of presenting the HR policy. I didn't have an HR policy of my organization, so I had to create one and present. Everybody appreciated. So that after 2 years, when I applied in that bigger organization, so one of the participants was a senior person who was also a participant in that HR workshop. He recommended me to the bigger company. I know that if I would have applied on my own to that company, I wouldn't have been selected. But because of that recommendation, I got into a big company and achieved many big projects, which were very difficult um, for many. I achieved those. So that is when I knew that I was resourceful. So let us see what makes others stuck and stagnant, and what makes dissatisfaction. So everybody knows that, all of you might be knowing, and all of you also come from the similar background, and you will be knowing that salary, relationship with boss, work conditions, supervision, relationship with peers are all the reasons why people get stuck, why they are dissatisfied. But when they get stuck is, the more senior the people, the more time they get in getting another opportunity. So the freshers or the less experienced will get immediate jobs in another company. But the senior people, they will take time to get jobs. And if during that time, they take almost 3 to 5 years to get a new job. Senior people, right? And all that time, they operate at 20% productivity according to the industry, this study. So if somebody operates at just a 20% of their life for 3 to 5 years, they will naturally be stuck, right? And what productivity they will give to their company, what result they will produce for their company, existing company. If they don't produce result for this company, will they produce for any other company? Because the other companies also will check with how this person in this company, right? So I did a market research wherein my apprehension was substantiated, wherein I saw that many people who are stuck because of workplace issues, they are bothered about some non-workplace issues also. There are some personality issues also, mindset issues also, which is why it affects their workplace. So when I knew that mindset is the main reason why people get stuck. So how to deal with this? So what I have done is there are many kinds of mindset issues, but majorly I have categorized them into 10 subsectors. Like it is life decision. They are not able to take. Somebody told me that he takes 1 hour to take one decision. Yesterday he was telling work decisions, life decisions are like that. They are not able to decide about their life. Like say if something not happening, then why that is not happening, they are not actually able to analyze. So decisions is not to be taken, not happening at all. Work decisions are like that. Competition is there. Competition will always be there. Can you stop it? But you can differentiate yourself. Communication. Like, have you seen people? I have several clients who hesitate on shooting emails. You know, emails are the mode of communication these days, right? So when they are upset, immediately shooting an email or asking that person on the face as to why this has happened, this will not, this is what they will not do. And they will creep on, they will put in their mind for several days. And afterwards, they will shoot an email. By that time, everybody forgets about what has happened. Only this person is remembered. So that is bad communication because people will be surprised, right? Why this person is coming after so many days? Confidence is an issue, of course, because of many negativity. Confidence lacks. Colleagues are an issue because if you are not successful somewhere, if you appear to be not happy, then colleagues also will not come to your aid. They also will um, they will try to help, of course, but it will not suit you. You will not find that people are helpful. Then sometimes you would be required to learn a new skill. Many people I have heard that so many years we have studied. If we now again, why do we need to be studying another thing? So that is the approach. So sometimes, most of the times, we need to refine ourselves. We need to learn a new skill, right? The world is changing. So not to a huge extent, you cannot become an expert maybe, but you can take the initial knowledge, right? Embarking on a big vision. As I said, I just shared, right? Why to have a big vision? Because that is what pushes you. And managing time, productivity is an use, and many people fear to do new things because they are afraid of failures. So here is my blueprint. Blueprint is like two two gears in a pulley. So your system will be as good as the lower gear. If it is not working, then the bigger gear will not work. So in the small gear, I have put the AHAP catalyst, your attitude, habit, action, and perception. In the bigger things, those 10 things just now we discussed, those will be there. We'll go one by one. And these are the entire blueprint that you get to know here. And you practice on this only, right? So this should be within a pulley, but any case, right? So this is the blueprint that I have. This is in Canada uh, because I was on a study tour. And this is where I created a 50 acres land, herbal cultivation. This is one of the ladies whom I trained, got a CII award. Um, this is a testimonial from an ex-colleague. And this is in Meghalaya where I established 239 kiosks. Meghalaya was a very difficult terrain and connectivity was an issue. But I proposed data card and VSATs, which were new innovation for those. Although those are existing solutions, but these solutions will work there was my innovation. Why I figured out how I figured out this is it was easy because nothing else was working. So I started utilizing this. Like say data card was I was using data card. So I thought everywhere I took it to everywhere and it worked. So I suggested data card. VSAT has this characteristic, but when there is a very difficult terrain, then VSAT helps um, receive the frequencies, the wavelengths, and that is how it gets connected. So that because of those innovations, those are small suggestions I made, but that project became successful because of that uh, initiative of mine. And I did a business plan for each of those 239 kiosk operators because that time it was early days in utility bill payment and all. Not many opportunities were there to earn being a kiosk operator. But I did a business plan wherein they could earn 5 to 10,000 way back in 2008 to 2010. Right now, I heard that these kiosks are can be taken only when you pay a donation of say 3 to 5 days. So those became my milestones. Then Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve is one place where people had only 3 months of food. They were going inside the forest, and it was a tiger reserve, and there was no fence between the core and the buffer. No differentiator. So they were getting into the core of the forest, and they were getting killed. Right. So here we were asked to give an alternative livelihood solution so that people will not have to go to the forest. So what we gave them, agriculture based livelihoods we gave. So these people did SRI in mustard, wheat, and paddy, of course. And they broke record in mustard production of Madhya Pradesh. It was a huge achievement. These ladies did, like say the locals, and they formed a federation. Uh, there were 2 clusters, and they won 17 awards in 4 years by themselves. And the then Chief Minister of Gujarat was Narendra Modi, the Honorable Prime Minister now. He was there and he felicitated my farmers in a farmer convention because these people, they differentiated themselves like that. If farmers can differentiate themselves, out of the 50,000 farmers who were gathered there, anybody can differentiate, right? And the Devti Bai, who won that CIA award, she gave the idea of Punji is the Punji. A small capital is the key to get out of poverty. If there is a small capital formed at the level of every individual poor person, then they will no longer be poor. That is what her idea, which won her the CIA award of 1.5 lakh cash. And the then industry minister, Mr. Anand Sharma, felicitated her. And this is another farmer there. He won MS Swaminathan Research Foundation Award. And this is Lalli Bai won another award from the Andhra Pradesh governor then. And this is my colleague who has given me a testimonial saying that she has an uncanny talent to spot talent in others. This is another colleague, grassroots worker who is now the CEO of that farmer producer company, which is running on profit right now. And few of the awards I won because of my work, and my organization also won. So here is what topic 1, empathy for fulfillment. So today we'll be seeking about the universal nudge. How do you recognize the universal nudge? When you go inside, you create that sensitivity within you. So if you are that sensitive to recognize what the other person is thinking and getting up to it is What makes you capable to receive and discern that universal nudge? So how can you make a difference to your friends and colleagues being you? So if you have this question, how can you make a difference in your own life? You need to ask this question whether you can make a difference in others' life also. Do you want to make a difference at all? Do you have that mindset at all? So that is a question. And if you have that mindset of yours, then you have to practice three practices of empathy to overcome 100 plus unconscious biases to develop clarity. We all have unconscious biases with which we actually categorize people without knowing them sufficiently, and which actually affects our work and our relationships. How to deal with our biases is to, first thing is to recognize. Second is think critically as to where your mindset is affecting this. Third is challenge your assumptions. Like say, it will not be very easy to challenge your own assumptions because those are the childhood experiences. But practicing empathy will need some critical thinking at your part. The second is mindset continuum, in which, like say, if you are frustrated at your workplace, then what choices you have? Can you change something? If yes, then change, please. If you cannot change, then accept, because you cannot change, right? And if you cannot accept, cannot change, then remove yourself from the situation. Can you take this decision? This is a decision taking, right? And if you are still thinking that you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot do that either, then you will produce some results, some excuses. But if you are not producing results, then there will be excuses. And if excuses are there, there will be no results. So both of them cannot coexist. So see yourself whether you are at the result level or achievement level. Achievements are positive results. Results can be positive, negative, either. So dealing challenges, most of our challenges, like getting a good job, you are always thinking about having a better job, good job at other place, right? So how do you start challenging that? The first is goal setting. What goal do you set? Set yourself a goal actually about where you want to work. In 1 year time, you want to work in that particular company. That is a goal. Now, once you set your goal, why and how? So these will be your next. You can give yourself some exercise as to establish why and how, right? And you need to engage with others also. Topic 3, humility towards infallible bonding. So if you want to create infallible bonding in the event of uh, having a new job, why infallible bonding is required? See, humility is the first thing. Admit mistakes. Whatever wrong you are doing at this thing, this place, you need to overcome that by saying I'm sorry, say thank you, appreciate the other person. You will see 90% of your problem will be resolved here itself. And still, if you want to cross over to another company, this habit will help you. Second is listen to understand, right? So Simon Sinek says you should be the last person to speak. In that way, whatever you have to say, you will gather that other people have different perspective also. You will be wiser at the end of the meeting. And as the last person, you will have others perspective also. And don't nod your head if you agree with somebody, because you cannot be partial to anybody. And the perspectives are not good, not bad. Why? Because if you are on the boat, you will see the land, and if you are on the land, then you will see the boat. Both things are equally true, but it depends on where you are. Give space to others. They will do something which you will not like. You will think that they are not respecting you. That is not the case. They are having their journey. You allow them to have their own journey. So it takes time for people to travel from one point to other. You also need that same time. So allow that time to others. Have an open mind always about possibility, opportunity, success, and discoveries. This is very essential. And respect, accept, and coexist, because no other person will be like you. You are born unique, the other person also is born unique. So embrace the differences. So this is how humility, with humility, you can do this. And this is very interesting one which I have created. I love this because this is a bait strategy I apply. The entire thing is a very beautiful structure, something. A painting might be. If you do it in the cloth with thread, let's say thick threads, then each bead is your success. You can do that. So you break your entire success into beads like this, so that you know that you have won. This is the way to create consistent success stories, right? We'll talk about this in one of our class, wherein we can break down into very small segments and achieve those. And have patience, because the caterpillar to turn into a butterfly takes time. And take ownership. Don't go into victimhood, right? You are the person who can make a change. And this is about strategic positioning. You have to very subtle in your assertion, strong in conviction, suitable obsession, subliminal orientation. Because you start with assertion, you make your point, but that is very subtle. You don't have to be very rude in your language. Then how you can convince the other person? Because you need to be convinced yourself. It is not about winning an argument. It is about how to convince the other person about your point of view. And the other person should know that you are passionate about that. So suitable obsession, suitable amount of obsession you need to display, so that the other person knows that you are very passionate about that. And subliminal orientation, you convince in such a way that the other person starts receiving you know, your ideas. And synergizing conversation is the conversation should not lead to an argument, right? So this is one of my, in the process also, towards having a very clear mindset, I'll teach that your second rank should be empowered, so that they can take over some routine job, in during which their training also happens, and they will be trained, empowered to take better responsibilities in the long run. That is your responsibility as a leader. And when you have in the initial stages of your career, you should take experience in several verticals. But after some time, say 10 years, by the time you are a leader, you have to have depth rather than spread. You should not be spread out in all the directions. You have to be focused into your strength area. Then that is when reaching beyond happens. Only when you have depth, people start recognizing you then, and you will achieve also uh, something which will be very difficult. Like say the farmer producer organization, it takes about 1.5 years time. One for each one, it takes 1.5 years of time. But in Sikkim, I did that in 3 months, 11 of that. So that is what one integration is. This next, what I am doing is doing affordable housing, in which I have a vision to build 9 crore houses, because 9 crore families are there in India. Less than that, of course. But that also is a big goal. Housing for all is a scheme, but I still have a big goal. You can have those goals because that is how you will be pushed towards that. You start working because no, because you have a goal. And also I am working on the clean energy space. And I am working on Professor Nobel laureate Professor Muhammad Yunus on small enterprise. It is not direct working, but sometimes the deeper work at your place, it will affect the bigger work that is being done by bigger people. So one part you take ownership of and start working on that. So I am working on that. Affordable housing is income enabler. So that is where I am working. That house will house the small enterprises as well. And now I am into digital space wherein am being trained by Vivek Mehrotra, who is my direct mentor. And I am learning this digital space because I want to reach scale through digital medium. So it will be all online. And this is a very effective medium also because that is what we learned during the COVID. So I have 12 of them, 12 mentors. This is a system to which I belong, wherein I am in constant learning, constant mentoring of these 12 mentors. And this is mentor of those mentors, right? Sometimes he does some workshops and I'm part of that. These are few of the accolades that I have won. And Vijay Mahajan, who is the father of microfinance in India, he has given me a compliment saying that no matter where you are placed, you always find out a way to do the work. So that is what resourcefulness is, right? So I won this from him, this compliment, thing like it. So what I teach here is the same. Whatever I have learned in my lifetime, that is what I'll teach. Leadership, it is called leadership growth blueprint bundle, wherein you will be unshakably productive, reframing self-assessment questions towards finding your superpower, and using those superpowers to reign supreme and gain confidence. And the 5 bonus courses that I have is how to power up within, how to manage your internal patterns. It will go negative at times. And soul search, wherefrom you will seek your power, inner power. That is how you will seek the universal nudge. Universal nudge is an indicator, but coming up from within is the soul search, wherein your inner power is established to become a winner despite several fallouts in between. Win is not always a flat thing. It is a valley and a summit. And you should not be frustrated because you have to have a disenchantment zone wherein you are not attached to it. Let go easily and call your higher self whenever you can call that higher self instantly whenever you are in a trouble. So this is about intention, attention, attitude that we teach. Then continuous upgrade. Of course, this is the requirement. Focus on the process rather than the result, because the process will make you better and better and better. You will break your own record. How? Just because if you focus on your own winning. And delegate appropriate is mentoring, how you mentor your second level. And joypreneurship is reaching beyond, wherein you monetize your skill to an enterprise. You make an enterprise or establish some passive income. So these are my main courses, and the practice ebooks which are in my second level, which is radiance level. So these are the initial level, entry level things just now I have described. These practice ebooks are for how to gain the insight of all that I have discussed. So there are 30 of them, 30 modules are there, but inside them there are a lot of practice books, which will be created according to your own personality, according to your own problems. So once you say thing, outline a problem, accordingly we can create a solution, right, for each of you. It doesn't take it, it is just 5 result areas, 5, 3, 4, these areas, and those practice books you need to practice whatever is there every day, wherever you lack. I don't say that you need all the 30 modules, but sometime or other you will need at least 5 of them. Right now, if you need 5, then some other time you will need some other 5. So that is, all those practice things are there, and it will be recorded as soon as people are doing going through this. Of course, it will be very personal, but in the classes that we'll do, we'll be recording, taking specific examples, and those resources also will be available online. These courses are all available online, right? Once you get into there, then these lectures will be added to them. So once you go through these online courses, there are 30 of them, right? Every week we will have 2 discussion classes. In those discussion classes, we will resolve your problem. Whatever issues you are facing, those will be resolved. We will add some more according to, we'll make those customized to your needs, right? So during those weekly calls, we will do that. And suppose you still want some one-to-one counseling, then you can go to the third level, the glitter level, wherein you can just book a call and take that. So all these at this level, so each of these books, this comes to the main bundle. The Spark level bundle is 59,994, almost 60,000. And the practice books are in the second level, which are valued at 1,11,000. Both of these are valued at 1,70,000. But whoever is there inside this webinar, they will get it at 5,999 only. It is the combination of all 3 levels. This is some offer I am giving you for few days only. Say for the till it is August, you will get all the 3 levels simultaneous at 5,999 only. So my first level, this Spark level is at 1 lakh. It is priced at, it is valued at 1,70,000. The second level is 6 lakhs. The third level is 12 lakhs. So 12 lakhs plus 6 lakhs, 18 lakhs plus 1,70,000. All 3 is 19 lakhs, almost 20 lakhs. 20 lakhs comes to you at 5,999 only for those of you who are attending this webinar only. During August only, if you go for this course, then you will get it at this price. If you go to the uh, go to the course, it shows at a higher price. So if you buy from there, it will take you lot. So the webinar offer is valid for only the webinar. So this is it. Hope this has helped you, and I will see you in the next webinar. Thank you.